Pledge of Allegiance, if you'll please stand with us. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we'll ask Councilman Elton Bond to lead us in our invocation.
We bow our heads, please. Oh, Heavenly Father, in the name of your precious Son, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, we say thank you. Thank you for blessing us to see another day that we've never seen before. Enjoy in good health and good spirit. Please bless this council as we go into our meetings to do things that are better for Edenton, living conditions, to make this a beautiful, prosperous, happy, safe little town. In Jesus' name we say amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilman Bond. The first order of business is approval of our minutes. Councilman, you have that in your meeting agenda packet. We have the minutes from February 11th and February 25th. Are there any comments or requests for revisions to any of those minutes? There appearing to be none. I'll accept a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Councilman Costin seconded, and Mr. Bond made the motion. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes from February 11th and February 25th, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we come to the portion of our meeting where we invite public comment. I'd like to remind the public we welcome your comments, but those comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. And if somebody would hand me the sign-up sheet, we'll begin. Our first speaker tonight is Karen Murray. Ms. Murray.
First, I want to thank you for addressing the golf cart ordinance. That it will be approved tonight. The second one is something a friend asked me to bring up. She wants to know whether there are any plans for any type of senior housing in or around Edenton. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a bunch of old people around here. Assisted living, the kind where you can go from one, the staging kind of housing for seniors. I know there are companies that build these things. Anyway, is that on anybody's radar anymore?
You're talking about continued care.
Yeah. It'd start out with
CCRC.
independent living and then progress as needed. Memory care, Alzheimer's care, perhaps.
I can't say this, and you've been to enough meetings, you know, generally if we can give you a quick answer, we'll do that. And if not, we'll put it on the town manager's report. So I will say this, that has long been a priority of ours. It's long been a priority of the Edenton-Shoreline Partnership. Mr. Dixon has been talking about that for years. We recognize that as a need, and it's very frustrating. It's almost like the grocery store issue. When we bring it up, we can't get any nibbles, but it's not for lack of trying, and we won't stop trying because we recognize that as a need. But thank you as always.
The next one is, I want to let you know that a group of us from the Senior Center are working toward forming a Challenge Senior Center Friends nonprofit organization. The basic goals will be to increase public awareness and community involvement and communicate with the CSC Advisory Board, which is already in place, and then to raise funds to support additional programs, perhaps more equipment, that kinds of things. So it's strictly just information. We're not there yet. We're working toward it.
Keep us updated on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to shut this because it's really honest.
Yeah. Thank you. Our next speaker is J.D. Grant. J.D.
Mr. Mayor, Council. Just had a couple of issues I want to bring up. I know that you all are voting on the golf cart ordinance tonight. You expressly stated that you would be enforcing the seatbelt, I would just encourage you to also enforce all the ordinances regarding golf carts, specifically the underage drivers and the parking of the golf carts on sidewalks and no parking zones. I'd also like to note that you all have hired, from what I understand, a public information officer, but it doesn't look like anything's being updated. There's nothing on the public website or the Facebook page regarding the meeting tonight, any agenda. And the last meeting that's noted on the website is January 14th. Recently, you've had some code violation hearings. We hired a code enforcement agency. They've had some hearings, and from what I understand, on most times, the person who's been called into order has not shown. I know specifically that Saga had a recent code violation meeting. They did not appear. And the code officer stated that there's some kind of plan in place to improve or make some type of improvements. January, they signed the conditions for major special use permit, so I know that next month will be the 3 months required for them to give an update. So I just want to go ahead and put that out there that next month when the town manager does the meeting, I'd like to see some kind of update on Saga. I also noted that some people brought to my attention that when they try and make bill payments online, regardless of whether they're using a credit card or their bank draft, it still charges them a fee. I know that we had a lot of talk for a while, especially Mr. Constant brought up, you know, the reset or the reconnection fees and trying to waive some of those. If people are already behind or trying to make the payments on time, I don't think it's proper for them to be charged an additional fee. I understand if it's a credit card because those fees are from the company, but I would just encourage the town to look at some other kind of option that would allow them to pay to a bank draft without incurring an additional fee. Thank you.
Thank you, JD.
Can I answer him?
Yes, if
The
you've got a
town-
quick answer, that'll be
The
fine.
town does offer bank drafts. A number of ways. You can either sign up through the town to do it at the end of the month, or you can go to DOCSO and schedule it yourself.
Okay,
That is a no-fee option.
okay, so they can't like make a payment each month, they have to set it up on a reoccurring payment?
The DOCSO payment can be set up however you want to do it.
Okay,
The
All right.
town is just, whatever your bill is automatically drafted.
all right, I'll let them know. Thank you.
There, next speaker, Hal Murray. Hal?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, distinguished members of the Town Council, there are many questions surrounding the dockage of the Albemarle Queen in Edenton and the camo proposal for the 4 dolphins outside the Barker House bulkhead, right out here. The Town Council, as well as the residents of Edenton, deserve a full and honest report from Harbortown as to their plans for the Albemarle Queen. Their plans seem to change frequently and could impact the town. Can the town of Edenton get a report to the residents as to a complete description as to Harbortown's plans for the Queen and the 2 fast boats? Please provide a copy of the memorandum of understanding between the town of Edenton and the Harbortown Inc. So does Harbor County plan on docking the Queen at the Barker House or just pick up passengers there? I've heard stories one way or the other, and it'd be nice to get some sort of clarity to that. There's a lot of opposition to having that boat there 24/7 other than when she's out. Will the Barker House bulkhead and 4 dolphins be proposed in the CAMA permit be used exclusively for the Queen and other large boats that come in periodically, which is what the CAMA proposal is all about? I'm wondering whether the way this thing is set up, whether the fast boats are going to be able to use that. They're only setting these things 30 feet apart, which would be great for my boat, but not for an 80-foot boat. Will the fast boats be using this stockage? I just went through that. And the question about a captain for the Albemarle Queen, it's not clear that they have a captain at this point. In February 19th, I have an email from Professor Nick Guido, I think that's how I pronounce his name, stating that the County of Edenton was not going to charge Harbortown Inc. for dockage or electric. If so, why is this? I get 2 days of free dockage and pay for electric out here with my boat, which is a great deal. But it is only 2 days as opposed to 80 feet of boat out there. The town of Edenton looks forward to clarity and transparency in the matters of our relationship with Harbor Town. And I'll leave these with Dwayne so that the specific questions can be addressed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hal, and we'll pass that along and also make a request that some council members, in fact, the large majority of council members have some questions also.
Okay.
So we'll see if they can get here soon. We'll pass that along. Our next speaker is Deborah Miller.
Hello, thank you. I'm Deborah Miller, an Edenton resident. I'm trying to wrap my head around the town and county's attitude regarding the Confederate statue. It was the Edenton Town Council in 2020 that created the Human Relations Commission with a mission, a philosophy, and objectives. From all I've heard, the removal of the Confederate statue was the first recommendation and was approved. Yes, in 2020, does that mean the new mayors and new members of council disrespect previous decisions? Following are a few notes from the HRC. The mission, to strengthen our community by promoting racial equality through activities and policies that foster mutual respect, inclusiveness, and harmony among all of our citizens. Please tell me, has our community been strengthened? Is there really inclusiveness and harmony among all of our citizens? Does that statute do anything at all to reach those goals? That part of the philosophy in part reads, acknowledge that discrimination undermines the growth of Edenton by limiting individuals' potential and by preventing residents from contributing fully to our community. Discrimination also frustrates, degrades, and embitters people, creating a lack of trust and further lack of involvement. Has discrimination ended or improved? And now the county wants to place the statue by the courthouse where equal justice should be happening and towering over our country's true veterans memorial. Their objectives in part read, studying problems and concerns related to local relationships, including ways to create better communication between races, promoting interpretations of history that value the contributions of African Americans and encourage recognition of such contributions. What's been done regarding racial relationships by our leaders? I don't know, wouldn't mind an answer to that. To ignore the HRC, a group organized by the town, has this shown contributions of African Americans with the statue standing there? How can anyone move forward in a positive way with the statue still standing there? Please tell me what this statue represents to all of you that you are so willing to disrespect the majority population. I just see the white supremacy that still exists in this town. Just listen to the counter protesters, as many seem to do. A 2020 vision statement in part reads, the mayor and town council also recognize the importance of its citizenry and believe that the future prosperity is rooted in relationships of equality, respect, and inclusiveness that encourage preservation and celebration of Edenton's unique and diverse heritage. How's that one going? You have options on the statue, and I wish you would please make a true effort to look into them, unless you want to keep white supremacy going. Ending with a quote from Edenton's Town Council statement on solidarity, this was June 9th, 2020. As Dr. Martin Luther King so eloquently stated, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in the moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. And just so you know, I went back to 2020 because this is kind of when the whole ball got rolling. So, thank y'all.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Miller. We voted to move the statute. We remain committed to that. We've not backed away from that. As you well know, we are under an order not to move that. We got a court hearing on April 21st to hopefully dismiss the injunction and also hopefully dismiss that lawsuit. To suggest that we have done anything on purpose not to move it, I think is disingenuous at best. We are going to move it. We remain committed to that. So thank you for your comments.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we've got Amelia Bond. Ms. Bond?
Thank you, Mayor and Councilman. I'm Amelia Bond. We live at 667 Virginia Road, which is directly across the way from Dog Crossing. And I know you think Frog Crossing is not in your jurisdiction, but they're within a mile of the city limit, so it falls under the city's jurisdiction. And the only problem, and we just have a problem with them right now because they put up 4 big spotlights, you know, and they shine bright in our windows. And also, when you're coming down 32, going by Frog Crossing, they're right, one of them is right in your eyes. So I would like to ask if y'all are able to do that, if they could just, I don't want them removed because I know they need them, but if they could just bend them down just a little bit, or put a shade under them in some way, that would be a big help. So I wanted to ask about that. And I also wanted to say something about your turning the Broad Street from a 4-lane road to a 3-lane road. And I just think that's very hazardous because my father was killed on a 3-lane highway with cars going in that center lane. So there will be cars going at each other, and I just feel like that's just unsafe, and I care a lot about all my Edenton friends. And that's our main road into Edenton. So I just wish it would be some way you could just leave the 4 lanes. I know y'all talked about it and everything, but anyway, I wanted to just let my feelings be known about that, because I don't want anybody to be hurt.
I appreciate it. And I think this may be your first time, at least in recent memory, speaking before us, but we adopted a policy last year that when people bring up concerns, we have our town manager look into them, and he does his best to report back to those citizen concerns at our next regular meeting. So
Okay.
we'll pass that along, and the administration will look into it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for being here. I just wanted to let Mr. Williams and Mr. Turner know you both have signed up here, but you are an agenda item tonight, and so we're going to pass over you, and then when we come to the point in the agenda where it's time for you to speak, we'll do that. Our next speaker is Larry Mulderry. Larry?
Council, thank you very much. Quick question I have for you, Mr. Mayor. When you just said citizen concerns, if this is not the forum, then I'll retract. I'll sit back down. Just curious about that.
What's that now?
You said just as a citizen concerns. Is this
Citizens.
not forum for that? Is that-
No. This is the forum for citizen concerns. But what we do is a lot of times, matters that are brought to our attention, we have to research them and look at ordinances and things like that. So what we do is hear your concern, and if reasonably possible, we report back to you at the next meeting. So yeah, it's your time to talk to us about what your concern is. Yes, sir.
I want to thank every one of you for what you do. My wife and I walk around this town constantly, and I'm sure everybody's seen us with our little dog. The stores look great. It's nice to see it vibrant. The merchandise that are in the stores is fantastic. And I do know it's because of the efforts of everybody here. It doesn't happen on its own. There has to be input from behind. So I'm very grateful about that. And I'm pleased to see David Myers here tonight. They're doing a wonderful job as well in the town and the streets and everything. I mean, it really does look nice. And even when I have family come from up north down here to visit us, they're very impressed on how nice the place looks. And it really does. My concern that I do have, though, and not knowing that you would hear, he has familiarity with this, is we have neighbors that just blow trash into the street, yard debris. And I've talked to David several times, and he's addressed this issue. He has told me he's addressed it, and I believe him. But I can't help but think that his position is not being respected because it happens on a regular basis. And it just keeps down the street. I'm not the only one on the street that doesn't like it and says anything, but I'm the only one that will come public about it. Everybody else comes to me or my wife and says, why is this done? But I'm the only one with the mouth, and I'm not afraid to use it. And my wife is not either. So I would like his office to be respected and him to get the support that he needs to get this to be brought under control. And that's as far as I think I need to go with it from here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Larry, and we'll get together with David and Corey, maybe David, if you and Corey can get together on that and talk some more.
It's every week, if not twice a week.
Thank you, Dave. So that concludes our public comment. As always, I'd like to thank each of you for coming and sharing your concerns with us. We don't know things until we hear from you, so we thank you for letting us know. Next, we've got a special presentation from Michael Williams. Mr. Williams, I thank you for being here. You can come up and approach the speaker's area there, but Mr. Williams is with Carolina Rebuilding Ministries, and he's just here to talk about his group and talk about how it may have some opportunities here in Edenton to assist some of our citizens that may need us the most. So, Mr. Williams, I'm going to hand it over to you, if you will.
Great, thank you. Good evening, Mayor High, members of the council and our community. I stand before you today to share the mission of Carolina Rebuilding Ministry, a mission deeply rooted in faith, service, and the call to love our neighbors. As a faith-based organization, we believe that every home should be a place of safety, dignity, and comfort. Inspired by the teachings of Christ, we serve those in need by providing critical home repairs and accessibility modifications to families, seniors, and individuals with disabilities. At CRM, we live our faith by meeting people where they are, restoring homes, and restoring hope. We are called to be the hands and feet of Jesus, ensuring that no family has to live in unsafe or unhealthy conditions. Our work includes, but not limited to, roof and siding repairs, wheelchair ramps, accessibility modifications to restore mobility and independence, plumbing, electrical, and HVAC repairs to provide safety and comfort, and serving with love through volunteer-driven, faith-filled efforts. Through the grace of God and the generosity of our volunteers, donors, and partners, Carolina Rebuilding Ministry was able to get over 88 homes served in 2024, and with 1,280 volunteers that joined us in this mission. We had over 50,000 volunteer hours, over 1.6 million in value donated labor in the community, and over 530,000 in purchased materials donated to the community. Families and individuals experienced life-changing improvements in their homes. The Bible calls us in Galatians 6:2 to carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. This is exactly what we strive to do at CRM. A safe home is not just a structure, it is a place where families can gather, children can grow, and individuals can live with dignity. How can you be a part of this mission? Pray for our ministry as we continue serving those in need. We serve currently 3 counties and are moving into a 4th, Chewan, Washington, and Bertie County. We're located in Bertie, and we're moving into Hertford County very soon. Support through funding or grants to expand our outreach. Volunteer with us whether swinging a hammer or sharing a kind word. Every act of service makes a difference. And help us spread the word to reach families who need our assistance. In closing, Carolina Rebuilding Ministry is not just about fixing houses, it's about fulfilling God's calling to serve others in love. We are grateful for this community, for the partnerships that make our work possible, and for the opportunity to be the hands and feet of Jesus. Thank you, and God bless you all. And any questions at this time, Mayor?
Well, I was going to make one quick comment. Thank you for being here tonight, and one of the reasons why we wanted Mr. Williams to come and talk about Carolina Rebuilding Ministries is all of us here at the council level certainly aware that we've gotten more aggressive on our code enforcement, and our citizens have asked us to be more aggressive on our code enforcement. And many times the houses are just vacant. They're out-of-state owners who have no concern with ever fixing up their house. From time to time, we do run into particularly some elderly people or people who might be suffering some financial difficulty who would like to fix up their house and can't, and would like to bring it up to code. So we're hopeful that we can partner with this ministry on some of those folks that do want to repair their houses and get them out of code violation and repair their houses. So that's why we asked him to come talk. And with that being said, if any of you, Mr. Miller or others, have questions
Just had a
or
question. Are
comments.
you basically funded by individuals and other churches?
So churches, individuals, we have individual donors, we have churches, we have some partnerships that we work with as well. The Duke Endowment funded us, gave us a grant, so that was a blessing for us, but most of it is through individual or private donors.
Are you visiting churches at all?
Absolutely.
I mean,
All the time. Most of the
and
churches.
telling your story.
Yeah, absolutely. So most of our volunteers come from out of state. We have one church in this area that serves with us on a regular basis, and that's Haskell Church of God. They're the only ones that come and serve from this area. We have 3 out of Raleigh area, but that's it. Everybody else is Michigan, Indiana, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Canada.
Your base office is in Bertie County?
Base is in Windsor at the old Southwest Early College.
How does someone go to show they need this help? I mean, how do they qualify?
So income levels typically under 27,000. We are implementing an outreach program for veterans as well. I've reached out to some of the veterans in the area, the veteran leadership at some of the counties, and trying to connect with them to see about reaching some of the veterans. We are currently, like I said, operating in the 3 counties that I mentioned earlier, Bertie, Chowan, and Washington counties. Most of our work comes from Bertie and Washington. We had 5 houses out of that 88 that were from Chowan. This opportunity certainly is a need here. We discussed that with Dwayne, and something that we see there's a need, but it's a matter of getting that funding and getting the volunteers to be able to do the work.
And what I'd like to do, if there's no objection from members of council, is to get Dwayne and Mr. Williams talking on a more formal basis, and perhaps those that are fall into that category that they would like to improve their house and get out of code violation, and maybe use him as a resource.
We've already started identifying some, and we've had a in-person meeting with him, the contract manager.
Earl didn't make it tonight, it's his anniversary. So that was probably a little more important. That's what I said. So, but we did visit a couple of houses, got some numbers on those to begin the process. I know there were quite a few more that we wanted to look at. And to answer your question from earlier, I'm sorry I didn't. There's an application on the website that they can go, a homeowner can go and fill out. We very rarely deal with rentals. There is, if we can make an exception, and we talked about that offline. So we can work with renters. Right, so, but it's not something we do frequently.
Do you have a system in place where you make priorities?
Yes, sir. It's based on the application. And currently, I've got in process about 434 applications. So, and those are just the ones that we've identified. We are constantly reaching out, even through Medicaid. I did bring some literature that I can leave at the table on the outside on the way out, if that's something we can do, some brochures from us, and then also with Access East, which is one of our partners that I spoke about earlier through Medicaid and East Carolina Health.
How many of those brochures or literature did you bring? Is it just one page?
Sure, I got stacks.
Okay, well, if you would do this, what's that?
Post it up at town hall. Yeah.
Yeah, if you, for tonight's purposes, if you can leave it at the table,
Yes, sir.
and if the general public has any interest in either volunteering, contributing, or learning more about what they do, or know somebody who might benefit from what they do, please take advantage of that literature. And then if there are any left, Mr. Costin, we can post those at town hall.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it would be, we know about you, and we can get the leftover ones, so don't hand them out to us. Let the citizens take them if they can, and then we'll take what's left.
Well, I'd love to invite the council down as well to tour the building and see what we're doing and how we're growing. It's amazing work if you want to come and look at the building and see where we are, if you knew anything about the school beforehand. So,
Okay.
certainly something to entertain at least.
Thank you very much, and we appreciate what you're doing in this area of the state.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Thank you.
Our next agenda item is another special presentation. We're not going to be able to take any action on this tonight, but we are here to receive further information from Ray Turner. Ray is well known in the area and has a curb ride business proposal that he would like for us to start thinking about. So Ray, if you'll come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members, city. First of all, to echo the comments of the gentleman earlier, it's a beautiful town and very well run.
very well respected outside the area. We have a proposal to implement a free on-demand ride system here in Elizabeth City. The hope is to implement it in the early spring, and it would, our main purpose is to provide more accessibility to senior members, to tourists, and to folks who want to visit the downtown area. It would be funded through sponsorship, through local businesses, and privately funded. All the rides would be free. It would be dispatched either through a mobile app or through a phone dispatch or texting system. We have a similar program in place in Elizabeth City right now. Elizabeth City has a little bit of a different dynamic. As you know, their downtown area has been revitalized and they're limited on their parking. Obviously, you know more than we do, the city of Edenton has a little bit of a different dynamic with the neighborhoods in the area. These golf carts are DOT inspected, licensed, they have seat belts, doors, windows. They're basically a mini vehicle. They're road legal and can operate on, according to state statute, can operate on any road with a 35-mile-an-hour or below speed limit. So our hope is that we'll put a proposal in front of the city. You guys would look at it, and we can partner and work in Elizabeth City or in Edenton as we have in Elizabeth City.
Okay.
That's our main.
Very, very interesting idea. Does anybody have any questions at this stage? I talked to Corey Gooden about this, and this is just kind of a get the ball rolling presentation that he's given us tonight, and Corey and Dwayne are going to get more information from Ray and see how it fits in with our ordinances. And probably what we'll do is put it on one of our committee meetings. Craig will have to figure out if that falls under your committee or somewhere else. With an eye towards the springtime on giving you a thumbs up or thumbs down on it, but it's certainly an intriguing idea. And if we can push it to a committee meeting later on in the month, and then hopefully revisit it at the early part of April.
Where do you store them at when they're not in use?
Normally we'll have they don't take up much room. They're six-seater, basically a six-seater golf cart. So we'll store them in a small garage or storage unit that we'll rent someplace here.
Are you looking at a 7-day-a-week operation?
We're not primarily how it runs.
Weekends or tourist events? So
Yes, sir. Right.
maybe, go ahead.
Primary ideal to implement is to run it during the weekends and during special events that are being held in downtown. It's how we do it in Elizabeth City. And right now, I think we're ready to add a second one to the Elizabeth City area. So the hopes are that we'll be able to do the same thing here. And as we see more and more demand, we'll add more hours onto it.
How long have y'all been in operation in Elizabeth
We've
City?
been in Elizabeth City almost 8 months now.
Wow.
Is there a dedicated charging station for the vehicle that you guys utilize over there? or-
There is where we house it. So it's basically just a 220.
How would one notify you that I need a ride?
On the vehicle itself, we have QR codes, and we have the phone number posted on all sides of it. And then we do social media posters, and then we encourage any of your small businesses to advertise it as well, because not only do we have drivers for this, but they are ambassadors as well. So if you have a visitor in town, they'll say, hey, look, if you're looking for a great meal, you might want to consider the Governor's Pub or stopping by, one of the other restaurants here if you're looking for antiques or things like that. So our hope is to make them ambassadors for the city as well.
And you do work with hotels too?
We do, yes.
So it's free of charge to the user, and would it be similar to like a Uber type situation where you pick up your phone and call it
Yes.
through the app?
Yes.
Any other questions?
Just certain hours, you're limited to certain hours?
Right, we're not limited to certain hours. Right now, we operate mainly from around 5:30 or 6, depending on the night, until 8 or so at night, when the traffic dies down.
Okay.
And if there's a need for it to be earlier or later, then we can expand that way.
Ray, thank you for coming.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Very, very interesting idea. Thank you. We'll be in touch with you.
Thank you.
Next, we move to our committee meetings. The only committee that has presentations tonight is the administrative committee. We've got 2 items to discuss and vote on. Councilman Miller, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor.
First item is golf cart ordinance update. As you recall, at our February 25th Town Council Committee meeting, we discussed an amendment to the town's golf cart ordinance that states, and I quote, "Seatbelts must be worn by all occupants while the vehicle is in motion," unquote. Mayor, I move we approve this amendment to the golf cart ordinance.
Okay, do we have a second to Councilman Miller's motion?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that amendment passes. Thank you for your work on that, Craig.
The second item, Mayor, is the fire prevention ordinance update. Also, at our February 25th Town Council Committee meeting, we discussed updating the existing Chapter 92 ordinance entitled Fire Protection in the Town of Edenton Code of Ordinances with an update that prescribes regulations consistent with the most current edition of the North Carolina Fire Code and the nationally recognized good practices for the safeguarding of life and property from the hazards of fire. I move we approve this update to the fire prevention ordinance.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion second, and Chief Bass reported to us at the last meeting that this was long overdue and much needed. Is that correct?
Yes.
All in favor of passing the updated fire prevention ordinance, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you for bringing this to our attention, Chief Bass. Appreciate it. The next agenda item is new business. The first item of new business is the Edenton Housing Authority appointment or reappointment in this case. Deborah Davis has recommended that Bill Miller be reappointed to another 5-year term on the Housing Authority Board. Mr. Miller has been a faithful servant on that Housing Authority, actually serves as a board chair, and continues to show a commitment to the mission of the Housing Authority. That does not require a vote. It just simply is a mayoral appointment, and just let the record and minutes reflect that I had reappointed Bill Miller to the Edenton Housing Authority. The next item of new business does require a vote after we discuss this, but this is a vote on accepting a bid for the 2 new wells contract. We received 3 bids, and Stroud Engineering, our consulting engineer, has reviewed those bids with administration and has recommended to us that we do award it to the low bid contractor, who is a responsible contractor according to our engineers, and that's Burnett Well and Pump Company. The amount of this bid and this contract is $466,400. This is a grant opportunity or a grant-funded project from the ARPA grant. Does anybody have any questions about that? I would accept a motion that we award the bid to Burnett Well and Pump Company in the amount of $466,400.
Excuse me, Mayor, is it Burnett or Magit?
Magic.
What's that?
Magit.
Magic.
Or Burnett?
That's one that,
I've got Magit in our
yeah.
resolution. Yeah. So I want to make sure we're right now.
David, do you know
I believe it's Magit, I believe.
Magette? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I have a typo in front of me. I apologize. The motion's amended to award it to the low bid contractor, Magette Well and Pump Company.
So moved.
Okay, we got a motion and a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Okay, that bid is so awarded. The next item of new business is a budget amendment. It's simply to recognize receipt of income. We have received the amount of $174,401.17 as a tax reimbursement from sales taxes from the North Carolina Department of Revenue that is paid to our wastewater treatment plant renovation. Those funds will go into our sub-account on that renovation and will be used for contingency expenses. So I will need a motion to recognize that those incoming funds.
So move.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of this budget amendment to recognize the incoming funds, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that budget amendment passes. Next, we've got a financing resolution that we need to consider. This is for the financing of the Paradise Road water main extension. The project has a total cost of $726,000 from grant funding and a 25% local match in the amount of $181,527. The extension would loop Paradise Road water main with the Peanut Drive water main. It would help us accomplish a number of goals. I think it would provide for better fire protection if one of the industries out there had some sort of catastrophic event. It would also improve water quality for our customers. It would help remove, or it would remove 2 dead-end lines that we have in that area of town and improve overall fire protection for the industrial park and also allow for continued expansion of the industrial park. The finance director, Virginia Smith, contacted 4 lenders. We received a total of 2 bids back, or 2 proposals back, one from Truist and one from Southern Bank. First Citizens declined to bid on it, and PNC did not respond to our RFP. Of the 2 proposals, town management and our finance director found that the Truist proposal allows for longer term, lower payments, and overall lower interest total. Ms. Smith, did I cover everything? Is there anything you need to add?
Yeah, and this loan is up to $500,000, so you might not necessarily need to borrow that much money depending on what the final quotes come in at. I think David and his team are working on that now to finalize those. So we might not need the whole entire $500,000 to finish the project.
Okay. All right. Does anybody else have any questions of
I
Virginia?
guess for David, is that water line run under a railroad track?
It goes down under the railroad track now.
Okay.
We'll tie into Paradise and go through the field
Okay.
and tie back in, so we will not have to go on the railroad
Won't
track.
have to go through.
No, sir.
Okay, any more questions? All right, do I have a motion to approve the proposal from Truist Bank to finance the Paradise Road water main extension?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor of that financing resolution awarding the loan to Truist, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Virginia, if you'll move forward with Corey on that, and notify the banks of our decision. The next matter under new business and the last matter is the recommendation of an award for the sewer Phase 2 I&I contract. There were 2 bids that we received for this. The low bid was $1,472,000 and the high bid was $1,498,000, a difference of about $26,000 between the 2. We are recommending from the town manager and from administration that the award not go to the low bidder. In fact, their bid was rejected because they had an incomplete package and did not follow instructions and did not provide all the information in order for us to make a decision on their bid. So the recommendation from town manager and town administration is that we approve the bid of Envirotech Unlimited Construction in the amount of $1,498. Does anybody have any questions on that?
$1 million.
What's that?
$1 million. $1 million.
Oh, yeah, $1 million. $1 million. Well, thank you for correcting
But you got the difference, right?
Yeah, exactly. $1,498,400. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Okay, Councilman Dixon, got a second from Councilman Turner. All in favor of awarding this contract to Envirotech Unlimited Construction for the amount I accurately stated, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that award goes to that particular company. At this time, we move to the next agenda item, which is the town manager report. Mr. Gooden is in Mooresville, and he's there for a State Main Street event where he's representing the town, and I understand he may be speaking at that, and may also have some more news coming from that we can't reveal right now, but he's out of town. So Dwayne?
Yes, sir. Yep, so we had 2 public comments that were received on February 11th. And to recap, Mr. Hal Murray, his comments were on electric loss at residents. He wanted to make a special note of recognition, thanks to Brent Bowen and Brendan Ost for professional and prompt response to after-hours power loss at his residence. This type of customer service is what the town strives for in every department. We are certainly proud of these 2 staff members and the way they perform and carry themselves. The town does make every effort to train staff to perform this way all the time, and even in light of difficult situations, the administration recognizes how great the staff and residents truly are. We hope to continue to make this the standard for what we do every day. Thank you so much to Brent Bowen and Brandon Oss. Great work. Pat Rother discussed parking garage. Is the parking garage open to the public or just employees? The current design for the garage includes both public and potential for lease spaces for the new business. However, the footprint of the structure of the current parking lot number of spaces is intended to stay the same for public parking. Our second comment was dogs at Hayes concerns. The space currently under management by Elizabeth Moore Foundation, and the group is working on signage needs for the entire site, which includes the signage around pets. Under items considered timely and important, Mayor High, Mr. Jimmy Alligood's electric concerns. Corey met with Mr. Alligood on February 17th, just over an hour, and they went over all the items he was asking for surrounding electric rates. That included debt, electric rider, rate classification, and he assured him that the town would do everything in his power to keep rates as low and fair as reasonably possible. Mr. Alligood seemed pleased with the discussion, and he will work with electric cities to try and have the speaker come in the group, in for the group to answer any questions the council or the general public may have. I would like to have them in before the next year's budget is approved. Councilman Costin had nothing at the time. Councilman Dixon made reference to the original NCEMPA agreement and the volume of contractual paperwork associated with the program. Staff has worked very hard since the last time to navigate these agreements and to maintain an active part in the NCEMPA. Needs to be participating in the Board of Commissioners monthly. Again, he will work with legislative cities to try and have a speaker come in for the group. Councilman Bond, the stop sign on Granville Street. The police department is and have actively worked in the area to make sure drivers and are following all traffic laws. We expected some learning curves for drivers, but expected traffic to continue to improve as the four-way stop becomes more part of the traveler's commute. The police department will continue to monitor the intersection and update council on any findings. Let's see, Councilman Miller, the playground equipment. The equipment vendor did report that the equipment will be delivered in April. They are also working with the installers to try and coordinate the install as close to delivery dates as possible. Councilman Sellers thanked both candidates for announcing their decision to run. Councilman Bond and Miller. Sellers also mentioned the reduction in speeds and an improved safety feel on Granville four-way stop. Again, police department will continue to monitor the intersection and update council on any findings. Councilman Turner for minimum housing update. Some houses have made some improvements and had some update meetings with property owners. Others are unresponsive. We will make an update in the near future. We'll also bring a new group forward in the near future as well. I am working on that. That's a continuous daily process for me to kind of make communication with some of the homeowners that are in need, identifying who qualifies for certain help, as well as identifying who the owners are who might live out of state, getting contact information. So that's a daily objective of mine.
Okay. Thank you very much for stepping in and handling that for us. Our next agenda item is items considered timely and important by council. And I'll begin by saying, first of all, Councilman Alligood, I apologize for sending you home last meeting. I did not think we had an answer for you, and I sent you home, and shortly after you left, I found out we did have some answers for you. But it's my understanding you and Corey will continue to have a dialogue on that. So thank you very much for being here, and thank you for your service to the town that you gave us all those years. The only item that I have, not necessarily for comment tonight, but if we can see if we can get some sort of report, maybe even at our committee meetings on the status of Broad Street.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Councilman Miller?
My question may be directed to Tammy. Is there any update on the employee salary study?
So we did, at the end of last week, receive some preliminary reports that Corey and I both started diving into and going through, so hopefully soon we'll have something.
Great. Thank you.
You guys on this side?
I know years ago they did I think it was a grant, wrote that railway study for the trails and the biking trails and all that. Is that dead? Are we still looking into that, or is there any talks with the railways anymore?
Yeah, I've got a somewhat positive report on that. We have begun discussions with the individual that is a former in-house attorney for one of the railroad companies here in North Carolina. And he has started a consulting business where he consults with towns about creative uses of old railway beds and old railway right-of-ways, and also all the legal challenges and getting the right documents in place. And so we're working with him. It's slow going. He had a big project in front of us, but he's finished that up. And so hopefully we'll have a report to you soon on that.
He comes in and does the...
He comes in and gives us advice, and if needed, you know, I think the way he put it is he can help us as little or as much as we need.
Okay.
But he's got, you know, over 30 years of experience on the inside, so it should be helpful to us. Councilman Sellers?
Nothing at this time.
Okay, I got you. All right, big man, what you got?
We've got signs up. No 18-wheelers in the community. But we're still getting them. It would be okay if they didn't go so fast. And you know, it's getting warm. Well, not yet, but it's gonna get warm. And we're gonna have kids in the neighborhood trying to ride bikes and those skate things. They're gonna be all in the highway. And it's dangerous.
I think Officer Wynn was here earlier.
Yeah, he had a loud muffler out there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and I'll follow up on that. I mean, you know, I'm out walking early in the morning, and the speed on people coming down Church Street, either way, in those trucks is really amazing. I mean, I'm sure if you live in those houses, it rattles you. And I don't know what we do about it, but I think that those trucks come through there just flying.
And we've got signs up, say 25 miles an hour. We have signs up that say, drive slowly, watch children. They speed, they do.
Well, obviously that's not working.
It's not working.
Can we utilize the tag readers to, I guess, figure out what trucks are going down there and start issuing citations? Because they're on Old Hereford Road.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would like to see us have better enforcement of this particular road, and then also some of the roads coming into town, because I've noticed the same thing. And it's a matter of safety, and it's also a matter of being good neighbors to the people that live on those streets. And the speed does seem to have gotten out of hand. So as a starting point, let's get together, maybe Dwayne, me, you, and Corey, and Austin or Chief, and talk about some of the areas that we need, and talk about some of the other ideas and tools that we might have. So I'd like for us to get serious about that. We receive a number of complaints about it, and it feels like something that we can do something about. So, all right, Councilman Dixon, was that your concern? Okay, Councilman Costa?
Just one. So there are a lot of events that we get invited to, and I know sometimes we don't all get a chance to keep up with it. So one idea that a couple of us had was actually doing a shared calendar amongst council. So you know, the or the PIO could, you know, start doing a calendar just for us, so we can make sure there's an appearance from council. But,
How does that look? Is that an app that we all need to get?
I mean, you could just do a normal calendar, and that's our, you know,
Just share the calendar.
Okay. Yeah, can some of y'all that are younger and more technologically advanced, I said younger and then I looked at Bob. I was looking at Patrick, Bob, not you.
All right, everything down.
I've got a few years on Bob, but not too many. But yeah, if you, particularly you two, the younger ones that have more knowledge in that space, set that up, I think it would be a good idea. And I think sometimes we miss things that we should, one or more of us should be
Yeah, that was a
at.
concern that was shared, with me that, hey, look, I didn't see anyone there, but it's something that we just didn't know about. So if, all of us know about it, we kind of be like, okay, we're gonna be here, so on and so forth.
Well, I'm gonna task you two guys to talk about that and see what the best plan will be. And,
I never get into the PIO, how about that?
okay. Work with her.
Susan Creed with Chamber of Commerce is pretty good about announcing events too, but.
Yeah, we want events that we're invited to, and, I mean, not all those events are always for us, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a good idea.
I do.
I
We
think
talk
it's a
about it
really good
sometimes.
idea.
Yeah.
So we'll work on that. All right, I felt like we had a good meeting tonight, everybody that was here, and I mean that, everybody. I'm glad you're here, and thank you for your comments, and thank you for being here. At this time, I will adjourn our meeting.